All should be getting notifications momentarily.
Dee, hold on, let me. No, come here, Dee. Come on.
And we are now live on Facebook. Allowing people to punch in, and then we're gonna hit the button. Full three. We're just sharing the show, guys.
Stay.
Share. All right, y'all. Time for me to hit the button, go to work. Yeah, hold on. Just boom, other program. And bang. Yeah, once again, it's the NYCHA show and it's going down. We do this every Sunday at 4 o'clock. One of my shades is bright and it's crazy right now. The weather in New York today is beautiful. I don't know what you're talking about, but it's hard to be inside. Where we at? We had about like 81 degrees or something like that, like 80, right? What'd you say, Saundrea?
Crack my mic and I'll tell you. There you go, 72 degrees.
72 degrees in New York
doing
City.
weather, NYCHA weather. What y'all know about that NYCHA weather?
It is. It's 72 degrees
City.
Right now. There you go.
Partly cloudy.
Partly cloudy. 72 degrees in New York City today.
Yeah.
It's a nice day to be out, y'all. If y'all get a chance, man, you know, you catch a show on your phone or something. But we're glad that you're here. So, hey, guys, make sure you share.
Yes,
right.
Thank you for tuning in to NYCHA.
Don't be selfish. Share. Word up. So I'm gonna look in the chat room real quick. I got my phone. Who do we got? Big shout out to Maria Izoa.
Yes.
Big shout out to Cynthia Tibbs in the house as usual.
Yep.
Faithful.
Ivette Hernandez says no privatization.
No privatization.
Yes. Say it again.
That's it. No privatization, y'all.
No privatization.
No privatization.
No privatization.
1, 2, 3, and bang. Yeah, we in the building. Wow. So today is an interesting show, and I think it's a carryover, but we'll talk about it. No privatization.
Privatization. Yeah, privatization. It's okay. It takes time. We got to roll up. Privatization. There you go.
You know, we have a word that you just can't say. Yeah, that was it for me.
No, you got to be familiar like a little bit with it. It's one of those. It's one of those words.
I want to be. I want to be down.
You got it.
Right. So I'm just going to hit like what my week was. Right. it was a good week. We started doing that program in the schools I was talking about, where we're building recording studios in the schools.
Right.
We're building podcast stations in the schools.
That's excellent.
And we're building television stations in the schools.
Give yourself some.
You know,
give yourself some there. That's
and your crew, whoever's with you. Right? Give them some too.
Big shout out to Talos Media, my man Lazy Lays, my man Reg Long, Horace Fly, and CC Legal Lomax, you know, and Jazzy J have all contributed to this situation that we've been doing.
Hip-hop legends, too.
And I mean, MOP's in the building and Jazzy. And what we ended up doing was we did our first class. It was a podcast situation. And little girl, it's a fourth grade class, you know, and we're doing it in the hood, by the way, right? We're doing it. This was over like by Bedell Avenue out there near, not Rochester. What do you call that?
Rockaways?
No, near Rosedale.
Okay.
Out on that side, near Baisley Park and all that. And little girl, she steps to the mic, she sits down, she goes, "This is going to change my life." And I was like,
that's
wow.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's what it's all about.
So for us to be delivering these things to the children, and you know, ain't no kids picking up no tuba.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the clarinet. Yeah. They're the future. Now, you know, we're teaching them things and we're teaching them behind the scenes jobs.
Right.
Which is really important, which is what the program's actually about. So that was my week. Saundrea, how'd it go with you this week?
Yeah. As always, my week was blessed and busy as usual. I want to give a big shout out to our first intern, Shauna Kay. She's enrolling into a university.
Hey, great.
And NYCHA, we will be submitting her letter of recommendation. I'm working on that now.
Great.
As we speak.
We affect the youth, baby.
Yeah. Another big shout out to Nakama, our current intern, who is finishing up her last semester, and she did an awesome project for us, and it was her final presentation for the cup class too. So look out for that. That'll be coming soon. We'll be putting that out.
Oh, great. So we'll be able to see it.
Yes. And I just submitted her evaluation for her professors for her internship. So that's done. On Monday, I lost my godmother, sadly. So we are grieving our family. Poochie, Julie, Chris Jr., the rest of the kids, and so many. And, you know, it's been a little rough. But we're going to get through this together. Tuesday, I went live from NYCHA to do the balloon release.
Right, I saw that.
And candlelight vigil. I didn't cover the candle part, but for Mother Betty, she actually left us on her birthday, the day after Mother's Day. So that was, you know, really, like I said, tough. Her and her husband were very close to my late parents, and we all grew up in McKinley houses, so in the same building. So it was important to show this. It wasn't a public housing development, to show, you know, just the togetherness of people coming together. And, you know, they put it out, Junior put it out that Monday, and we all showed up. I mean, it was a lot of people out there, so that was a blessing. Wednesday, I had a great planning meeting with some faith-based organizations that come alongside us, the Homes Isaacs Coalition, to help us feed the community. We are gearing up for food, fun, and fellowship this Saturday in the courtyard of Isaac Houses and Homes Towers. And fellowship is people coming together, you know, so that's what it's going to be. It's going to be good. Jumping into Thursday, I did mass distribution with my council member office in the courtyard. You know, I do that every now and then with him, as well as on my own. CB8 Manhattan, Community Board 8 Manhattan, the Social Justice Committee, in which I co-chair, we're working on our next meeting on the 4th, I believe, whatever day that is, but the 4th Monday of this month. We're going to have a presentation on surveillance, which is very important, that we need to know. Jamani Williams, his office is working with us, one of his deputy public advocates, and some other people from the team. So we was on like a little planning, just a discussion of that, and that was really good. And remember these words: ban the scan, ban the scan. You're going to hear a lot more about that. Saturday, I had 2 events to attend around the same time. Thankfully, virtual. The other one was at Carl Schultz Park with a coalition of 50 volunteers that volunteers and supporters of Julie Menin's candidacy, who is running for City Council of District 5. She was on the show. The event was a huge success. There was other media out there, but there was also Black media out there. When NYCHA was out there, I was able to interview a few, her. It was another city council member there and some of the people that are supporting her. So I did 2 quick interviews. In full disclosure, I support her, but we as an entity, we do not endorse candidates.
Right.
That has got to make that clear so nobody don't, get a little, hey, wait, no, we don't. But what we do individually, we can do. I mentioned about 2 shows ago, I connected a mayoral candidate with Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney.
Okay.
She held her final congressional 12th district mayoral caucus on yesterday. That candidate was Jocelyn Taylor. I was instrumental in making that happen. So she was the last, one of the candidates, the last one to close her caucus out. So that was good. And lastly, today is the 349th day straight since June 2nd of 2020 that we have held the UES for BLM nightly vigil up at Eastside for Black Lives Matter. Yeah, and that's it. That was my week.
It's a lot.
Busy.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Always a lot.
Go ahead, Stan.
What's up, man?
Well, I just want to say to all the folks living in NYCHA, we must and have to put down these guns. On Friday, we were handing out food in Queensbridge. It's like 2:00 in the afternoon. And we hear gunshots. This is maybe not even 100 feet from where we're standing. And you see a young man running through the development with a gun. Then the cops came out with a very slow response, in my opinion, to the situation. I'm not sure if anybody got shot that particular day, but I know there was a shooting in Queensbridge a few days ago.
Yeah.
So I know Sugar Ray was speaking about that.
Right.
So I'm really hoping that this summer does not become the Wild Wild West in NYCHA, where we shooting and killing each other. We have enough to deal with trying to recover from a pandemic.
Right.
And the real thing that really shook me is you seen the citizens walking around. You see kids walking around. This is broad daylight.
Right.
Anything and anybody could have been shot. So I'm really hoping and praying that this summer does not become the hot summer that I'm thinking and praying that it's going to become. I hope we don't become that. So I'm praying for that. Also, we're going to be doing some community events. We're getting ready to get off of Zoom, and start having meetings in the developments, to really fight back, because we're finding now that NYCHA is really going hard with this RAD, this message of RAD. Yes. They're sending out mailers now. They're knocking on doors.
Yes.
They're doing they're really trying to push it like it's a done deal, So we got to become equally aggressive as organizers and bring this message directly to our community and knock on some doors and really inform the residents of what's happening, because they're being misinformed dramatically, So I really want to speak to that issue, is that, this is a marketing campaign of misinformation and NYCHA is putting out, to really confuse residents.
Yes.
And I got another phone call from a resident in Harlem River Houses. And she spoke about the intimidation tactics. They're knocking on her door, unannounced, trying to sell her on this RAD thing and trying to fix her apartment when she didn't even ask them to come. So I find it amazing that there's no money to fix apartments, but you can hire people to knock on doors, and spend money that way to spread misinformation. So it's really, they're ramping up. So if they're ramping up, all us organizers need to ramp up as well, because they're trying to end this year. And the last but not least, I'm finishing up the last chapter of my book. So I'll be coming out with my book very shortly, called But for the Grace of God. For those who don't know, I've had quite an interesting life that led up to this particular point. There's been ups, there's been downs, but I arrived here, so I really think that's God's blessing and grace, and I'm doing exactly what I'm doing today.
Awesome.
I feel that that's what I'm born to do, so I'll be sharing that story. And once the book comes out, we'll be marketing it on the show.
Okay.
And hopefully you guys will support it, and we're going to keep this fight going.
Is this the second book or this?
No, it's going to be the same one, but I'm going to add a little bit more,
gotcha.
Can bring it more up to date.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Okay. I'm going to give a big shout out, a couple of shout outs to the room real quick. We know, Cynthia Tips forever. Hey, Carmen Quiones. She says, hi, family.
Yes.
She's in the room. Cynthia says, we had a shooting over here yesterday afternoon.
It's crazy.
Very quick police response. No one was hurt, but suspect got away. She says this summer is not starting off great.
No, it's not.
Carmen says that's why we must work with our officers to keep struggles, I think she's saying. Because it says DTRUGGLS, and I think it's supposed to be struggles. To keep with the struggles. So that's what's going on out there in the streets, which is really crazy.
Yeah.
Hold on. They had a birthday, didn't they?
Yeah.
Somebody wanted to.
Yeah.
Was it Money Mike?
Money
Oh,
Mike.
is it Mike Jones?
Yeah.
Money Mike Jones in the house.
Can we do a little rendition? Happy birthday to you.
Sing it, girl.
Happy birthday to you.
Sing it, girl.
Happy birthday, dear Mike. Happy birthday to you. One night to style.
Stevie Wonder Belly guy.
We stopped that, baby.
Stevie Wonder Belly guy. That might be a new version.
Cut that out.
Record that.
What y'all know about that? This is what we do.
Okay.
Rock, right?
That's it right there. Have it right there.
Rock,
Come on, let's go. We had the beat going and everything.
Yeah, that was hot.
What's up, Mike? Happy birthday, brother. What's going
You
on?
look like you had a happy birthday.
You're gonna see Oscar song.
You hung over, boy.
You been hanging out too much
Yeah,
today?
yeah. I seen that
here.
picture with that big bottle.
I know. I see.
You was
You
flossing.
get some coffee? You got Red Bull? You good? You good?
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, he said, I'm present.
Word. All right, so that's dope. So we got some people on a Zoom today.
Yeah.
And let me just click over here. Yeah, and we got Brenda Temple. And Brenda, normally you're in the chat room, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what?
Yes.
It's finally nice to put a face with the name that pops on the screen. Big shout out to Brenda Temple.
Powerful night to be here.
Yes.
Powerful night.
Shout out to Sika.
Sika, Dr. Lenore B. Filani.
She's a member of a lot of
Yeah.
Also, we're going to give a big shout out to Jeanine.
Yes.
And that is, how do you pronounce her last name? Henderson. But I think it's Tina Henderson.
It's Latimer Henderson, but you can
Latimer
say
Henderson.
Yes.
What's up,
Good.
All right. So, Brenda, we're going to start off with you, Saundrea Coleman. Make it happen.
Brenda, tell them what you do. Introduce yourself. I also mentioned Sika a little bit, and then we want to jump into Jeanine, and then we just gonna flow. But tell them about you, and I love that shirt.
Yeah, I like it.
Hey, thank you. So good afternoon. I want to say happy birthday to Mike. Hello, Saundrea, Rock Logic, and Stan. Thank you for inviting me to this One NYCHA podcast and for having this important platform so that I could tell it like it really is in New York City housing. I'd like to shed a light on us and thank my neighbors and friends for their support, their love of community in spite of our challenges.
Right.
So yes, my name is Brenda Temple. I am a resident of Oceanside houses out here in Far Rockaway, Queens. I'm a member of the Committee for Independent Community Action, also known as SICA, under the direction of Dr. Lenora Filani, who founded SICA 10 years ago. So the SICA supports independent grassroots leaders working in New York City. And what we do is we're a program of the All Stars Project, which is a free programming for low-income people of all ages to learn, grow, and develop, to reinvent yourselves. And that's how I was able to become a leader in the community, by doing leadership classes and public speaking. So as a member of SICA, I've been fighting for decent housing for New York City's public housing residents. Over the years, many public housing residents have reached out to Dr. Filani and the SICA to speak about the deplorable conditions. NYCHA has shown New Yorkers to be an incompetent, multi-billion-dollar agency. It is unable to manage its 173,000 apartments. We, as you know, have been fighting for decades to get repairs made to maintain decent housing. You also know the conditions have gotten so bad that our homes are killing us with mold, vermin, lead, lack of heat and hot water, faulty elevators, etc. NYCHA is in charge of committing violence towards Black, Brown, and Asian people. I'd like to read a statement. Do I have time?
Yes.
I wrote this statement that really kind of, that I hope would touch the hearts and the minds of people, whether they live in NYCHA or not. Systemic racism has influenced negative ideas of public housing residents on purpose. From its inception, as they opened up to people of color, originally NYCHA public housing was built for military families and people with disabilities in the 1930s. To prevent Blacks from moving near whites, they kept Blacks in urban communities and denied them opportunities for decent employment, housing loans, and quality education, hence preventing us from excelling. The government categorizes these communities of color where Blacks lived who were poor as bad, criminal, less than, no good. Programs interconnected with the government have had the same nefarious goals. They use their power and privilege to purposefully neglect and disparage people of color to keep us down in all areas of life, and I'm a witness.
Yeah.
This had a tremendous impact on the residents that continues to experience generational racism and injustices. I just want to say that I was brought up in Ravenswood houses many years ago. Lived with my family, community, everything was great. The living conditions were livable. We were able to get the services that we needed in a timely manner, but things have gone downhill from there. When I left at 21 years old, I went out into the world with a college degree to have a career in course stenography. So on one of the field trips, the teacher or the professor took us to one of the courthouses. And I'm talking about this is in the 70s, early 80s. And she told us, the Black students, that, you know what, this probably isn't a career for you because soon the technology will take over and you'll be obsolete. So without any guidance, without any mentorship, I thought that I would make a really smart decision. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna leave this career path and I'm gonna do something else. So I went into the medical field. I became a stenographer in the medical field. And because of Me Too situations, because of no opportunities to advance, I found myself depressed, prolonged, and I made some really poor decisions and found myself in a dark place, which led me back to getting on the list for public housing. It's ironic, but it's a haven that I sought out where I can have an opportunity to kind of live and to go on and to reinvent myself and to recreate myself in the face of systemic racism and all the things that come along with it. I just wanted to mention that because now I'm in housing, I'm in the Rockaways, and my life is going well. I'm able to give back to the community. I'm able to reinvent myself, get jobs, keep jobs, and help others, pull others up that have gone through the same situation that I found myself in. So we struggle together as a community in the face of injustice while finding ways to live and support our families. To let others tell our story, they would say we were uneducated, jobless, criminals, drunks, and on drugs, lazy and worthless, looking for handouts and on welfare. Not true. Awesome. It wasn't like that in the beginning. And though there are some who struggle more, most residents are educated, employed, family-oriented, church-going, decent people who happen to be the backbone of this society. For years, the only jobs available were menial, such as cooks, cleaners, maintenance workers, nurses' aides, etc. Today, they call us essential workers, which we've always been.
Right.
We have always been essential. Some families were able to move up and out, some weren't. The story goes deep and with many layers. So one other thing, you know that the think tanks found many ways to keep us down with both seen and unseen practices that have taken a toll mentally, physically, and spiritually on the Black family. Years, generations of marginalization has traumatized our race. And while they blame us, they continue to victimize us emotionally and psychologically while we believe the lies, some of us believe the lies that they spew. The government is complicit at every turn, blaming us for their injustices. They are very systemic in nature and thorough in their continued malfeasance. How do they do this without recognition? Through intentional neglect of services, human rights violations, broken programs and promises. It's hard not to be stressed, angry, fearful, or suspicious. Every day, the life one lives in Black skin is a struggle to survive.
Yes.
Not knowing if you will be the next target of prejudice or bigotry. People are finally realizing, though, as a result of exposure through technology and other means, that they cannot ignore the truth any longer. We are grateful for people outside of NYCHA and for their participation as they march alongside us and organize on our behalf. But so much more has to be done. We are moving forward in an uphill battle for justice, equality, and basic civil and human rights. And one question I have to ask, how do you feel if these things were done to you? How would you feel? Your family and your friends.
Yeah.
Say no to privatization and
No.
eventual gentrification that would displace us. Where do we go from here? To your backyard? To the hotels that are turned into homeless shelters, where you march 24/7 to stop it and are successful? Come stand and march with us so that we can keep our houses, longevity and stability.
Thank you for
Wow.
that statement.
Yeah,
that
that was-
statement.
Powerful,
Let's hear,
powerful.
let's hear from Jeanine. Tell us who you are, where you're from, and please walk us through your RAD experience.
Hi, my name is Jeanine Latimer Henderson, and I live in Ocean Bay Houses in Far Rockaway, which is now privatized by RAD. If I had a choice, I would have loved for this to remain public housing. I would pack my bags and run the public housing. You know, they say that this program is everything, but it's really not. Don't believe the hype. Okay, they come in, they do a little fixing. Your stuff that you get is not what you expect. It's basically cheap. The tiling is cheap. They come in, they do bath fitters. Bath fitters come in and they put the new tub, the new thing. It looks, don't get me wrong, it looks nice. But then all of a sudden, then here comes the mold we started getting from them doing this in our apartments. They also, when it was NYCHA, I didn't complain about me being cold. Sometimes it'd be so hot in here, I had to open up the windows. They changed it over to a different type of heating system, told us that we would be able to control it, which we're unable to control it. That I had to go out and I bought heaters because my granddaughter was getting sick in here. People were getting evicted at one point. They were doing illegal evictions. They were locking people out of their apartments. They were all, people getting threatening letters from them. What I can't understand for the life of me is if you do a lease, to my understanding, leases were once a year. With them, it's twice a year. Why is that? Why are we filling out 2 leases, one with them and one for Section 8 or for NYCHA?
And when you say them, you're saying RAD?
Yeah, the new man.
One for the RAD, yes, one for RAD.
Wait, Chris.
And one for the buildings. It's like twice a year. Your rent is consistently going up. Some people have moved because of it. They're trying to make y'all believe that this program is everything. It's not.
Wow.
It's not. They hire. Oh, this is the hype. They tell you, oh, we're gonna hire the people that live here, from the community and stuff like that. Yeah, they'll be the first ones to clean it up. But then they'll start picking you off one by one, terminating you, firing you, making up stories that are fake to get rid of you, and then they bring all their people in that they want to have work here.
Wow.
I worked for them when they first came in.
Okay.
We cleaned up everything, even when they were doing the renovations. We were keeping the buildings clean because they forced the union on us, some 6, 7 something, and I wanted to bring 32 BJ in, and everybody was wanted it. They knew they would have to pay more and everything else.
Right.
I was terminated because I'm trying to bring another union in. All this stuff, they trying to privatize all these developments and everything else. What happens to the NYCHA workers? What happens to everybody's livelihood
Yeah.
that even work for NYCHA.
Right.
They're telling
So what you're
people
saying
are so scared to speak up and to speak out. Or
so what you're saying this RAD thing is a farce.
yes.
Okay, so on the surface, they're like, we're gonna give you new appliances. We're gonna give you. What I heard is a lot of the stuff is
A
refurbished.
lot of stuff is refurbished, baby.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
I'll tell you something. They gave me, when they came in here, they put a refrigerator, took the refrigerator, it looked brand new. In a couple of months, I went grocery shopping, that one broke down.
Wow.
They replaced it. They bring me another refrigerator. That one broke down. They bought me another one. That one broke down. I said to them, that's it.
Wow.
I don't want your refrigerator. I bought my own. But what happens to a family that's unable to buy their own?
Right.
Sure, that's tough.
That is, yeah.
And I just want to say
Yes,
that I was running for Queensborough president, and Dr. Mitch is the gentleman that is going around. He pushed the privatization of Ocean Bay, came to Queensbridge, and is trying to sell that in Queensbridge and other areas. You know, telling us that it's a good thing, and we should speak to the residents of Ocean Bay and able to see the place. I'm glad that you're telling the story of exactly what's going on. Please continue.
Yeah. You know what? Another thing that is really problematic is, like she was saying, Jeanine was saying, the fact that they're terminating some of the NYCHA employees. Newsflash: some of the NYCHA employees live in NYCHA. Right. So you know what I'm saying? Like, you're hurting your own people. You know, we all municipality workers for sure, but you're actually canning some of the people that actually live. Sad. But continue, Jeanine.
Yeah, but RAD is not good. And the people, a lot of tenants are scared to speak up, scared, even when you have things wrong in your apartment. How you call the office now, at least when it was NYCHA, if I called the office, I got somebody. I also got a ticket number. You can call the office 1,001 times. I tell you, I got to get dressed and I got to walk there.
Wow. So they really selling a dream. I'm so glad you are exposing it, because now folks, they're coming and knocking on your door. They're telling you how great this is. You know, you're hearing it live and direct from somebody that's in the building to do it. And
There's people here all the time on this development saying they wish NYCHA would take it back. So
can you tell the viewership what year that your development went under the RAD conversion?
2016.
2016. Wow.
How's everything going out there with you, Brenda?
Well, you know, I don't live on the privatized side. I'm still under NYCHA, but recently what they're doing is they're forcing us to consider the blueprint in it every which way. They're putting up signs in the buildings. They are sending it with our bills every month. And they've been having a lot of Zoom presentations about this blueprint. But we know that all these programs, they are privatization, which means that we'd be turning from Section 9 to Section 8, which would leave us with not many resources and not the opportunity to have representation that we should have, that we do have right now. They had the first gen, then they had the next gen, then they had the pact, then they went to the infill, now they're going to blueprint. And they're trying to convince the residents, because the residents don't know the logistics, that these things would be better for us. But in the long run, the bottom line is evictions, displacement, and eventual gentrification. Where are we to go when we're already basically at ground zero? How dare you turn Section 9 into Section 8, where it would eventually turn low-income apartments into even market rate after you make a certain amount, because there are a lot of people that live in NYCHA that have good jobs, you know, and if it's not going to be under the Section 8, Section 8 won't carry that income, and you would eventually have to pay market rate rent for where you live. And so that's nefarious at the core.
I want to say,
under NYCHA, we've been marching, we've been rallying, we joined other organizations. I was out there with you, Saundrea, at the Harlem River Houses. Where was it? No, we were at the the NYCHA building. And we were rallying and marching, and we're going to continue to do that. What we are asking everyone to do is, you don't have to know the logistics, but you have to know that this is wrong and that we are in jeopardy of losing our homes and our families being torn apart upon everything else that we're facing from day-to-day life. We got to stand up, fight back. We got to come out by the thousands. We got to come out by the thousands. Seek out your resident association leaders, get with them because they know what's going on. And together we can come together as one voice and really make an impact and make some good trouble, some necessary trouble.
And what's good about this fight is that it's not just public housing residents in this fight.
Right.
We have allies, so that's a blessing. So
yes.
show this again. This didn't come in my mailbox, but it came in the mailbox to one of the residents in Holmes Towers. They didn't send it to me yet. I'm not sure why, maybe because when they call our case in court, it's Coleman versus the city. Like, so, I don't know, but I didn't get it yet. So it was a senior that received this packet, which was in English and Spanish. Now, also we have people of Asian descent in there too. So what about something that they can understand? Okay, NYCHA. But anyway, this read through this paperwork, this booklet. He understood everything because he has a background in law.
Right. Okay.
So it wasn't foreign when it takes a lot of people sessions to really learn it. Elected officials are saying they don't understand it.
Right.
Wait a minute. No. What are they trying to do? He was mad. This man is in the, he was angry. I said, well, you ready to come out and speak about it? He said, hell yeah. So we done gained another ally, which we fought infill in 2015 for several years together as well. But what I'm saying is they did not, a lot of people do not know about this. This man, and I mentioned it to him here and there, but it never clicked because he never seen any literature. So this just shows if it's one person feeling like that, of a NYCHA resident, a NYCHA stakeholder, that means it has not hit the bulk of us at all.
Right. I could just say I got a phone call again from somebody in Harlem River Houses, and they're really pressuring them to sign those leases. You know what I mean? Like literally knocking on doors and doing intimidation tactics. It feels like we're fighting against the mob, like a criminal enterprise.
And they're under the
and how do you have money to do this? How do you have money to have a wide campaign of misinformation, but you can't fix an apartment? You know what I mean? Why is not the money going to fix apartments instead of spreading these lies? It's unconscionable.
Yeah.
Really
how was when they started your conversion? How did they seek you all out, Jeanine? Can you tell us how that went in the beginning?
Let me tell you something. When they first came and they started saying that they were gonna do a conversion here, it's a guy here that was heading our tenants association. His name is Faisal Smith. Him, me, and a lot of us started knocking on people's door to tell them to fight it. Nobody came out until it was basically the end. Once it was a done deal. Had they stood up before that, we wouldn't even be in this mess right now.
Remember the town hall we had out there, Jeanine?
Yes.
Donovan Richards was there and was saying that NYCHA is no more. And I stood up and said that we need to fight back.
Yes. Everything that, but let me tell you something. One thing I got to commend you for, Brenda, is a lot of the things that you were coming out and you were saying is exactly what happened. But no one would listen.
Yeah.
Wow.
No one would listen. So if anybody is getting ready to go through this, and let me tell you something, they will keep knocking on your door. They will tell you, you have to sign that lease.
Wow.
That's what they're doing. They really.
That's what they did here. They send you letters and everything else, and we'll have somebody come knock on your door.
Now, we do have under sources that resident council presidents are getting paid $20,000 to push this program.
Well, maybe that's what happened. That's what happened here. That's what I heard.
Yeah,
they went along with it and everything else. Some of them, and we had some of them even when they started. Oh, look at Ocean Bay. With commercials, people that were on the board here and the little commercials and stuff like that, standing on TV next to the mayor saying, oh, this is beautiful. This is the best.
Is that the development? Did they do the bus rides over there too?
Yeah, that's exactly what they were doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
The bus ride comes to the building right in front of me where they take you to an apartment that's nobody lives in. That's
Stage.
empty.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
empty. And say, oh, this is how this is gonna look.
Yeah.
And people are so wild and so mesmerized by it, but they don't know unless
Nobody living in it. So the stuff don't get break down.
a model apartment. So
Wow.
nothing there will end up destroyed or anything else. But that's where they take you.
Now, I just want to say, I've been hearing about this thing about, TA taking money, right?
Yeah.
In exchange for doing it. Isn't that like racketeering or bribery? Or isn't that,
You gotta call it what it is.
isn't that illegal? I'm
If
just
it's found out.
Brenda, is this illegal?
If it's discovered,
Absolutely, absolutely.
the Attorney General needs to look into
Criminal.
this.
Absolutely.
The Attorney General needs to look into it. I'm
It
gonna
is-
flag
it
this
is
on
criminal,
Twitter.
isn't
He
it?
needs to look into this.
It's like we're fighting the mafia.
Follow the money.
We fight
Follow the money.
A crime syndicate.
Whatever it is. Some people will take a
You know what?
neck in the no.
And they also,
I've had residents from Ocean Bay come to me and tell me that they had quality, inferior quality water. They even took samples of the water and took it to management. And they said, oh, don't worry about it. It's all right to drink. Brown water.
Wow.
Jeanine, did you have a problem with your water?
Brown water.
No. No,
Yes.
but my friend did. I didn't have an issue with the water. I had an issue recently in here where I went, like I said, they changed all the stuff in here to bath fitters. I went in the bathroom, went to my floor, filled up my bucket, went back, tried to shut the water off, and the water wouldn't shut off.
Wow.
24 hours, I was in here aggravated by hearing running water all night.
wow.
Then
Unbelievable.
it was so low in my bathtub, I had to go over there and tell them, like, I said, let me tell you something. I gave you a couple of days. I told you, if you don't have my water fixed by tomorrow, I'm calling Monica Morales. She'll be in my apartment looking, and I'll be blowing y'all up on national TV.
That's what we have to do.
Summer was at my house, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Hit up Lisa Evers too.
So interesting enough,
One
I'm
night
just
to
gonna
two.
I'm gonna hit
Yes.
the chat room real quick.
Mhm.
Let me see. Carmen Kiona says to push the ceiling rent now. Get your legislators to push it now before they get elected. Let's see. Okay. But you don't have to sign. You need legal counsel.
Yes.
Makes
yes.
sense.
You need legal counsel.
That's what NYCHA does.
Yeah. Carmen says yes. We need to get rid of lots of TA presidents. And there was something that was interesting. Oh, here it is. NYCHA, Cynthia Tips says NYCHA has been doing criminal acts for decades. Nobody goes to jail.
Come on, Attorney General.
Right.
So there it is.
James.
Yes.
Also, did you miss this one? And Georgia Watkins. My water smells funky at times.
Wow.
Funky water. Funky smelling water.
Like
That
Flint,
cannot be
Michigan.
healthy.
Flint, Michigan. In New York
Oh,
City.
Flint?
We
Oh,
are.
I said that on our press conference.
Right.
2019,
This is,
2020. January 15th. I said, this is another, yeah,
Right.
for sure.
It's like genocide. I mean, I call it what it
Country,
is.
we're
Yeah.
living like we're in a third world country, sadly.
Wow.
With elected officials, with all of these positions, from the governor on down, from the city, state, and federal level, allowing people to live in these conditions. And let's not talk about the underlying conditions that people have that probably wouldn't have had if they didn't live in
No.
public housing.
I know people that got
Because
sick.
we look
Yep.
at the lead poisoning, right? That's being done, and we always look at the kids, but there are issues from lead poisoning that impacts adults as well.
I mean,
from a
absolutely.
high blood pressure and everything. I was
Absolutely.
looking and doing research on this, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. We're worrying. Of course, we got to worry about our future, but they're not testing us.
Right.
So the headaches and all of that stuff.
Right.
NYCHA is making us sick.
Literally.
Class action lawsuit.
Absolutely.
action lawsuit.
And on top of that, they have these programs that they bring into the community saying that they would help with the underlying, like you say, conditions in terms of maybe health issues, mental health, drug addiction, what do you call it? Domestic violence and things that, because of frustration, because of life and life's terms that a lot of people aren't able to deal with or don't know how to deal with. We need that support, but they bring in programs that don't have any success. They bring in programs where they start, they sign you up, but they don't have any bottom line to them. They send you back out in the street, no job, no training, no real health, what do you call it? No health benefits or treatment or resources. Okay, so I just want to say at the city level, they can cut the NYPD budget by at least 30 billion to start putting better programming that best represents the residents in the community and reroute some of that money to make the repairs. In NYCHA, on my side of NYCHA, I've seen since COVID that there have been a lot of repairs being done and it's not under privatization. So why can't you continue that? You know what I mean? Why can't you continue to address what you've been addressing during COVID? You could have done that all along, and you can continue to do it without the turning it over to privatization. Yeah. At the state level, you can tax the rich in general, and through the millionaires tax proposed by Julia Scalazar, you can create a new regular funding stream to help fund NYCHA. And then at the bottom line, at the federal level, you can pass the Public Housing Emergency Act put forth by Nadia Velasquez, and which will be introduced in the Senate by Elizabeth Warren, which will allocate 32 billion to NYCHA, but we need more, and pass the Green New Deal.
That's passed directly
for
into
public housing, put forth by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, which preserves public housing going forward. I know that Khalil Anderson, who was the assemblyman in our district, says that he has some legislation that he's creating. And so I'm excited to hear about that. And I'm not sure, but I heard from some Zoom presentations or debates that Maya Wiley is saying absolutely no to privatization. So we all really need to get educated and look into this to see who we're going to vote in and who we're going to vote out.
One of the keys for the funding is, regardless of whatever it's going to come into us, to NYCHA, we need it immediately. Because if they're talking anything about giving billions of dollars over a span of 10 years, we do not have 10 years. We do not have 10 years. So we need the money in immediately. So if it's going to be 32 billion, flush it in and get it done and get these repairs done. Because if you divide the 32 billion by 10 years, that's only 3 billion plus, and that's not going to cut it. We need more than that. We need the money in immediately. And that is what's going to preserve public housing. Go ahead, Stan.
I also want to say, Chuck Schumer, you're promising to bring 80 billion.
Right.
Yes.
So if we're going to get 80 billion, then why do we need privatization? I mean, this should be totally put on hold if this federal funding
is coming. These are the backdoor deals.
And we put you in by it, so this $1 trillion infrastructure that you're about to pass must have money for public housing, not just here in New York, but really around the country. We need to preserve public housing wherever it exists and actually build more of it, not end it.
Repeal the Fair Cloth Act.
Repeal the Fair Cloth Act and build public housing at a time when we're going to face homelessness. You're starting to see people sleep on the street now. You're beginning to see us going back to how it was like in the 1980s. So we don't have time to play around. We need to bring the housing and the homeless movement together and really build a coalition that speaks for the people.
And let's not forget all of the vacant apartments in public housing.
Absolutely.
That are not rented out. Let's not forget all the vacant apartments in the city, in what's these luxury buildings that they're tax or write-offs, but we have people living on the street right in front of that building. Let's talk about that, because no one should be living on the street. And if someone has to go on a shelter, it should be for a short time so they can find housing. So we have to fight, not just for public housing, but we have to fight for housing, which is a human right.
Absolutely.
Yes.
On that.
And you get the beat. Boom. Word. Oh, man.
And what we're doing is we are looking into resident management.
Yes.
Because we want to manage our own developments. We do need professional help with that. We need lawyers, we need independent auditors and whatnot to follow the money, to make sure that the money goes to where it needs to go. So we're trying to work on creating our own resident organizations, resident management. What do you think about that? Saundrea.
I think it's absolutely the way to go. I think if you have NYCHA residents as stakeholders at the table, controlling things, you're gonna get a better result.
Collecting rent,
And also watching the money. If this money comes in, we have to have a mechanism in place to really follow that money other than what's in place now. Because we already know NYCHA gets, I think, $30 million a month. Then no one knows where it goes. I mean, this is coming from the federal.
No, a week. But it's a little more than that. 30 million a week, but a little more than that because of COVID.
Right. So then we need to make sure that NYCHA residents are at the table watching that money and actually controlling how things go.
And
who knows, get better.
And who knows better for you than you?
Absolutely.
We're living it. You have people making six figures, right? And in the mayor's office and everywhere else, planning, blueprint, and all this other stuff for us. And they're going to be going after the next administration.
Right.
I told the former chair at a meeting, you're making decisions for us when it was infill. And this was like in 2016.
Right.
You're making these decisions for us and you're not going to even be here.
Right.
We need to not just be at the table. We need to be the head at the head
Control.
of the table. Right?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You know, they say if you're not if you're not invited, if you're not at the table, baby, then you're the meal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You on the menu, right? You on the menu. You know what I'm saying?
I heard that before. Rock Logic said that.
Yes, Rock Logic said that.
So Rock Logic and Mike, I was wondering, where are your buddies that come out of NYCHA, the success stories, the famous success stories? We got a lot of success stories. Where's Jay-Z? Where's all those guys that are successful? Why aren't they reaching back? Have they forgotten where they came from?
Jay-Z actually, Nas and Jay-Z backed Ray McGuire, and which I found surprising because I believe from what I've read of Ray McGuire, he's not firmly against the blueprint. I haven't heard him say firmly that I'm against it.
Well, I questioned him about privatization, and he said he was not on Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney's caucus, and he said he is not for privatization.
All right,
I got that from him myself.
Well, I know he comes from Wall Street, so
we need some support, man. We need support from them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah.
All right. So Brenda, let me just deal with that. Let me just answer that directly. And the answer to that is, I can't answer that because I'm not really sure, and I don't want to say they don't do anything or that they do anything because I don't know.
Well, Nas was involved in
I know,
stuff.
I know Nas kind of floats in and out of Queensbridge. What I do know and what I can say as an entertainer that, and like I said at the beginning of the show, I do things for the community. You know what I'm saying?
But you never lived in NYCHA.
And I never lived in NYCHA.
Right.
I never lived in NYCHA, but I always believed in the giving back to my community that gave a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? That I flourished in. So whether it's NYCHA or whether it's just, the Black community, our communities that I lived in, for me, it's all the same.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And even doing this show, in spite of the fact that I've never lived in NYCHA, it's another form of giving back to me.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When we do that.
Yes.
To give y'all
we thank you. Yes.
You know what I mean? To give y'all a platform and be like, yo, let's reach out, let's talk, and let's
make this
thing.
happen. Yeah.
So this was a consorted effort between me, Saundrea, and Stan and Mike, you know what I'm saying, to actually get this thing done. And that's where I stand with that, on a personal level.
Well, I would just say, from someone that grew up in NYCHA and knowing how hip hop has told the story of NYCHA, in a lot of ways, and just the streets in general, I personally say that they don't give back enough in terms of speaking out. I'm not talking about just your money. Right. If Jay-Z was to go on to tomorrow and tweet out that I'm against privatization, that will spread, throughout all his followers, so they have powerful platforms. And I believe in my personal heart that they're not using them enough to get the word out, especially now when they're pushing so hard to do it. When they send a mailer to your house, when they're knocking on your door, if you have a platform and you come from those backgrounds and you're not using that platform to really get this anti-privatization message out, then what are you really doing? We supported you. We bought your records.
Right.
We
made you stars.
This is the time. This is the time. Right now. We need to get it together.
Yeah, we don't need their money. We need their voices. And that just not just the rappers, like anybody that has a platform, right, in sports or anybody that cares about humanity,
right?
But we can't make people pick and choose their fights, because if they're fighting for something, then that's good, then nothing. But at the end of the day, we need to be more vocal and we need to share our issues, because this is not just an NYC issue. This is a country
national issue. Yeah.
This crisis will affect everyone.
It has.
Will be in your backyard,
Yeah.
living in the hotels where you live in your community. If you don't stand with us and recognize that we need the support, and because we want stability where we live in our community. And we don't mind that, we have Chinatown, we have Little Italy, we have the Mass Path. Come on, we all want to live in a community where we feel safe and supported and loved.
Yeah, and we don't want to be another Pruitt-Igoe out of St. Louis, you know, where they had to blow up, the buildings. There was a public there was a public housing when I was growing up in Jersey. You would go by and it was abandoned for years. You ride across. It's like, and it was spooky, especially going by at night. And it's like, all of these vacant apartments, all of this complex is vacant, and there's a homeless crisis, because the crisis is not new.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So it's sad. But you know who failed us? The system failed us.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Elected officials failed us. Our city, our state, and government has failed us. This country has failed the people. And it's time, you know what I mean? Because there's money. Right. We seen money during the pandemic. Right. And now we see what Biden is doing, which the other one didn't do much or nothing. Come on. They're reimbursing families up to $9,000 if you lost a family member for COVID. When have you ever seen something like this? Right.
That's right.
Right. But this, because they know they should be trying Trump. Trump should be getting these 500,000 deaths. He should be tried for that.
He should go to jail.
Yeah, exactly.
Straight up. Straight up. He should go to jail. Bottom line.
Rock.
Yeah.
Looking at you about. Okay.
Oh no! I'm reading the chat.
I thought you were gonna say something. You pick up the phone.
I'm reading the chat, and I'll just say, Carmen said, "Call me. We have lawyers ready. Occupy NYCHA Residence Management is at the table with the monitor right now."
Excellent.
Home Isaacs Coalition. We met with the Federal Monitors team. Oh goodness, about a year and a half ago. Before the pandemic, we had to sit down with them, and they met with them, and so we connected with them. And also shout out to Take Root Justice. Homes Isaac Coalition also has attorneys, and we refer people. Stan was with us when we filed, and Take Root Justice is another firm. I can give out the firm, right? Take Root Justice. They are helping with public housing residents.
Right. And then Cynthia says NYCHA should not receive any money until a committee made up of resident leaders is established to oversee how the money is spent. Otherwise,
100%.
It will disappear as done in the past.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
There you go.
No accountability.
No accountability.
Abolish qualified immunity. We got it done for law enforcement, the NYPD officers. Okay, they don't have that. They're not under that cloak of immunity anymore, but your elected officials are, so they could still be bad actors and not be held accountable or even sued. We should be able to sue. And once you're able to sue an elected official as well as a cop, individually, that makes a difference in how they work. And with the elected officials, that'll make a difference in how they govern.
Yes. And I just want to say that Committee for Independent Community.
All right, Brenda.
Okay. I wanted to mention that if there's anyone that doesn't know how to get in touch with an organization to join this fight and this movement, you can get in touch with Justice for All, Saundrea Coleman, which she just said, her organization, and Committee for Independent Community Action at CICAASP@gmail.org. And so if you get in touch with any one of us, we can join you in this fight. And when we go out and we march, and we're looking forward to marching by the thousands, there are 600,000 residents in NYCHA. If we get a few 100,000, 100,000 out into the streets, we can make a great impact.
And you can also contact One NYCHA at NYCHA, NYCHATV@gmail.com. We can refer you. We can assist you. We are here for you, because this is not just entertainment. We are a movement.
Right. Absolutely. I just want to say, Jeanine, for yourself, what message are you going to bring to those residents, to get them on board to fight? What can we do now that your buildings have already been privatized? How can we organize here? How can we help you guys organize?
I know these tenants are really, they fed up. A lot of them are fed up, and they're complaining when they go to the office. I had told them to start reaching out to Khalil Anderson.
Okay. Has he been responsive?
Huh?
Have people been reaching out to him? And if so, has he been responsive?
He has been.
Good. I saw him with
Khalil has been responsive, and he also has a guy in the office. His name is Carl. He has too been on top of things with people that are having issues.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
And
But it's sad that I know a young girl, and I'm telling her, I'm talking, baby. Go. She's 3.
I got it.
I get it.
Jeanine, we're fighting for the privatized developments too, Jeanine. We're fighting for justice.
And I just want to say, Jeanine, your story is really important right now, you know, because you're speaking from inside of it.
Yeah.
And as they push this nonsense and this misinformation, your voice right now is critical because you bring the truth from the inside that people need to know right now. So
there's people that left here, that moved from here because they can no longer afford the rent.
Wow.
It went to market rate. Is it that? Did they go to
yes, there's people in here that's paying market rate. There's people in here. I know a young girl, her grandmother died. They're telling her like she's a temporary tenant. I've never heard of that. How is that?
Wow.
How is that? And I've been on the lease forever.
So let me ask you a question. How long did it take from I guess the time it was privatized that the market rate came into effect? How long did it take?
It didn't take long. The first year they was good. The second year, that's all she wrote. I know a couple that moved from here because they said their rent was almost $2,000, and they rent was over $2,000. They refused. They told me they refused to pay that. They went and bought a house. See, when they came in here, they told all the tenants that they were going to bring all these programs out here. They also told us that, you fill out this paper. Every month that you pay your rent is going to go to the credit bureau, which will help you towards getting a house. And we're also going to bring people like, none of that stuff never happened.
Wow.
None of that stuff never happened.
Well, I'm just going to say, Donovan Richards, I didn't get a chance to run against you, but I will be challenging you later on. But you should be ashamed for selling out the community like that. You should be ashamed for doing that.
Let me tell you something. They said we have people in here overseeing us. Where if that's the case, half of the stuff that is happening to tenants, half of the things that are going on here would never happen. And it's sad.
There's no representation.
There's no representation. You got seniors moving out or moving in with their kids that don't want to. It's crazy.
Wow.
Going back to school, so they have an excuse. I thought that in the bylaws it said that when your kid's a college student, they're not charged rent.
Right.
Bullshit. They're doing it here.
It's supposed to get reduced. Well, is that for the RAD or public housing? NYCHA. Is that RAD or NYCHA?
RAD.
For the RAD. I thought your kids was exempt at one point, but they're not.
With NYCHA, your rent can be reduced if your child is full-time in college.
I got 2 kids that's full-time college student.
And then
they have portions of rent to pay.
You should press for that. Remind, fight it, push it.
I pushed it. And they're still saying, they still have to pay something. I said, no, they're not supposed to be anything. The only person's income you're supposed to look at is mine.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Not my children.
So now, if we have meetings in other parts of the city, we're going to be doing it. I want you, Jeanine, to come out and we'd love for you to, because people in Queensbridge need to hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
People in Ravenswood, people in all these developments that are getting all these they need to hear from you.
Fulton houses.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because you seen it from the inside.
I flagged them in 2019. Yep, Fulton houses.
And if you guys want to have any inclination of what the people want to look like, then you should definitely see the Breedy Green movie from the projects that was in Chicago that got knocked down, and you can see that for free on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
Oh yeah,
I always post that, but I've seen it. I saw it before. I even got involved in this fight,
Right.
you know, and I was like, wow, like look at how they really did that. You know what I'm saying? So
The
if you wanna catch
Pruitt-Eigel
up,
is St.
yeah.
Louis too. That's another. You could probably find it. I think it's on Pluto TV.
Yes.
Some people are actually going in shelters too.
What is it?
I know a lady, her rent went too high. Her daughter was pregnant. They left, they packed their stuff up, put it in thing and went to the shelter, and that was sad.
Now, that is such a critical thing. You're bringing the homeless and the NYCHA fight together. I really want people in NYCHA to realize that, you know, you don't be against the homeless, because you just heard right there, that if you lose your NYCHA apartment, where do you think you're going if you can't afford to rent anywhere else? You know,
Nobody's gonna put you up.
you know, it's insidious. It really is. We're fighting the same enemy, and the enemy's trying to kill us. And I know the conditions inside the shelters are horrible as well. You know, so why is it that we got to always live in these conditions and suffer when people make money, $3,000 a head in the shelter, and having folks live in a subhuman way? It's the same.
Exactly.
Right, exactly.
And, you know, there have been.
Go on, Stan.
Stan, there have been more evictions in Ocean Bay than in all of the developments in New York City houses. Did you know that?
You ready to punch out? It's
Oh yeah. Oh, that's what you.
We've been rocking for the last hour.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, right. It was flowing.
It is great.
Okay.
First of all, I want to thank Brenda and Jeanine for coming on. You know what I'm saying? It was excellent. It's time for me to punch. And Brenda, it's nice to meet you finally. You know,
yes, thank you.
I'm sorry. It's virtually kind of in person. There you go. Fund my NYCHA now. I love that. Is that a mask?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Okay. Oh,
and she has it on top of the what you call them, yeah.
Okay. All right. That,
and then she got that Black Lives Matter work.
Yeah. And it's always a pleasure to do these shows every Sunday at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We get a lot of information. I learned a lot of stuff all the time. I mean, last week, I believe, you know, I learned that it was actually a real national fight. You know what I'm saying? Which was empowering, which means that we need to move our fight, you know, beyond the borders of New York City. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm gonna say what I said. You know, if you're gonna have a national fight, then you need the whole nation to be involved.
Right.
There's not enough of us in New York City to fight the nation. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So we have to get more, you know, organizations involved. And
Saundrea, let me know when we can organize a huge march.
Yeah, got you.
Let's do this.
On it, dog on it.
Well, that's something one NYCHA should be able to do, and bring all the organizations, Occupy NYCHA, One NYCHA, Justice for All, Holmes Isaacs, you know, all of that, because none of us can do it.
A whole lot,
Stand up, fight back.
Right.
Word up. And we bring it all together and have a really doozy of a march. You know what I'm saying?
I think One NYCHA could put that point.
Of course you can. Of course
we can.
We got this.
So
all right.
One NYCHA, one people, y'all.
See y'all Sunday.
All right. And
4 p.m.
Sunday, right?
We're lifting off. One NYCHA, one people.
One NYCHA.
Keep talking now.
Bye.
All right, Jeanine, thank you.
All right. Bye.
I'll talk to you. All right.
All right.
Okay.